Have you ever noticed how some older folks seem to glide effortlessly when they walk steady, graceful, unshaken, even on uneven ground or slippery tiles? It's not luck. It's not just good genes, and it's definitely not magic. These people have learned, often through personal experience, how to move in a way that protects them. The way they walk, how they place their feet, hold their posture, and use subtle habits most don't even think about can make all the difference between confidence and fear, between freedom and a dangerous fall. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today: 6 powerful, practical walking techniques that can help prevent falls and give seniors the freedom to keep moving without fear. Now, before we dive in, I want to gently invite you to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because what you're about to hear isn't just a list of tips. It's a series of small but mighty shifts that could change how you move for the rest of your life. This isn't just about preventing accidents. It's about walking with dignity, keeping your independence, and staying connected to the world around you. And if you have a loved one who's getting older, these insights could give you peace of mind and possibly save them from a devastating injury. Falls are one of the most serious threats to health and independence as we age. According to the CDC, more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year, and falling just once doubles your chances of falling again. But here's the part most people don't realize. Many falls aren't caused by weakness or illness. They're caused by poor habits, how we carry ourselves, how we shift our weight, how we react when something unexpected happens underfoot. The good news is, these habits can be changed. And it's never too late to start. Let me tell you about someone who changed the way I think about walking forever. Her name was Evelyn. She was 82 when I met her, and she lived alone in a quiet neighborhood, tending to her garden every morning. Like clockwork. She moved with such a gentle grace that you almost didn't notice her at first. But once you did, you couldn't look away. One day I asked her how she managed to stay so steady on her feet, especially when many of her friends had already taken nasty falls. She smiled and said something I'll never forget. "I never rush. My feet always have to know where they're going before I ask them to take me there." It sounded poetic, but over time I realized she was describing a very real and very smart strategy. Evelyn had retrained her brain and body to move with intention, precision, and respect for her own balance. She knew her limits, but she never let them shrink her world. She used 6 walking principles every single day, some she'd learned from a physical therapist, some she picked up from yoga, and some she discovered on her own after an early fall in her 70s. Those 6 principles form the heart of this message, and I believe everyone should know them. Before we get to those specific techniques, let's slow things down just like Evelyn would want us to and talk about why walking matters so deeply as we get older. Walking isn't just transportation. It's one of the last freedoms we hold on to as our bodies change. It connects us to fresh air, to friends, to errands, to the simple joy of moving through the world. When we lose the ability or the confidence to walk safely, the rest of life begins to close in. And what's worse, fear of falling can be just as dangerous as falling itself. Many seniors start limiting their movement out of caution, but that can lead to even greater weakness, stiffness, and social isolation. It's a heartbreaking cycle. But here's the hope. Just as bad habits create risk, good habits build protection. Your body still listens to your choices. Your muscles, nerves, and balance systems are trainable, even into your 90s. One study out of Harvard found that older adults who focused on balance and gait training reduced their fall risk by nearly 40%. That's not a minor improvement. That's a second chance at freedom. One of the most common mistakes people make when walking, especially with age, is looking down constantly at the ground. Now I understand why it happens. You're scanning for cracks in the sidewalk or stray cords or uneven rugs. But when your head tilts down for too long, your whole posture collapses. The spine curves, the shoulders drop forward, and the center of gravity shifts dangerously out of alignment. The trick is to keep your head upright, eyes forward, and let your peripheral vision do the scanning. Imagine a string gently pulling you upward from the crown of your head like a marionette. This alone can help you reclaim a more stable posture. I once met a retired music teacher named Harold who used this exact imagery. He called it his invisible conductor's baton, and he credited it with helping him stay steady even on rainy sidewalks. Harold had taken a tumble years earlier that shattered his wrist and left him shaken. But instead of giving up, he went to a balance class at his local senior center and learned this simple but powerful technique. He said it was like flipping a switch in his brain. "When I walk tall, I don't fall," he'd say with a grin. Another powerful principle we'll explore in this video is the concept of wide base walking. You may have noticed that toddlers walk with their feet a little farther apart than adults. That wide stance gives them more balance and less wobble. As we age, narrowing our gait becomes risky too close together, and it's easier to trip or lose footing. A simple shift to walking with your feet just a few inches farther apart can dramatically increase stability. It's not about walking like a cowboy, it's about honoring your body's need for a firmer foundation. And here's something else to consider. Good walking habits don't begin at the feet. They begin in the mind. Fall prevention isn't just physical, it's deeply mental. When you walk with fear, your muscles stiffen, your steps get shorter, and your reflexes slow down. But when you walk with confidence, when you trust your body and train it with care, you move differently. You project stability. You respond faster. You're not as easily shaken by the unexpected. That's why one of the most effective ways to prevent falls is not just practicing technique, but building awareness. Take a moment right now to stand up slowly, if you're able. Feel your feet against the floor. Are they balanced? Is your weight evenly distributed? Are your knees slightly bent or locked stiff? Is your head tilted down or lifted comfortably? These are the kinds of small details that determine whether your walk helps or harms you. We'll go deeper into each of the 6 walking techniques shortly, but I want to emphasize something important before we continue. There is no shame in needing support. Whether that means using a cane, a walker, or the arm of a friend, using help is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. I've spoken to countless seniors who resisted mobility aids for too long out of pride, embarrassment, or the belief that it meant they were giving up. But the truth is, support keeps you moving. And staying in motion is the very thing that keeps your muscles strong, your heart healthy, and your spirit alive. One woman I knew, Clara, a former school principal, fought tooth and nail against using a walker after a knee replacement. She said it made her feel old. But after a second fall landed her back in the hospital, she made a quiet decision. She picked out a beautiful, lightweight walker with floral designs on the frame. She named it Rosie. And she started treating Rosie like a trusted travel companion. Clara was back to shopping, attending book clubs, and taking slow, steady walks in the park. "Rosie didn't make me weak," she told me once. "She made me brave again." You see, preventing falls isn't about pretending you're younger than you are. It's about honoring the stage of life you're in and using everything available to keep living it fully. That includes better habits, better tools, and better knowledge. Because when you understand how your body works and how to work with it, you unlock a whole new kind of strength. In just a moment, we'll start walking through each of the 6 key techniques, starting with how you step and why changing just one motion can reduce your fall risk more than 20%. But for now, let this be your foundation. Walking is not just a way to get from place to place. It is your daily practice of staying upright in a world that wants to knock you off balance. And with the right approach, You can do it beautifully. Let's begin step by step. Let's begin with the first walking technique, one that might seem incredibly simple, but has a powerful impact: stepping heel to toe. It's surprising how often we lose this natural pattern as we age. Many seniors begin to shuffle, sliding their feet instead of lifting and planting them properly. But shuffling reduces stability and increases the risk of tripping over rugs, door thresholds, or even your own shoes. It also weakens the muscles in your legs and shortens your stride, both of which are critical to maintaining balance. Heel-to-toe walking is just what it sounds like. When you take a step, your heel should touch the ground first. Then your weight should roll forward along the arch of your foot and finally push off from the toes. This movement uses more of the foot's natural surface area to support your body weight, improving balance and control. It also sends clearer signals to the brain and muscles about what to expect with each step. It keeps your gait smooth and even. Try it next time you walk down your hallway or across the room. Focus only on your feet. Feel the heel hit the floor. Then gently roll through to your toes. At first, it may feel mechanical or awkward, especially if you've been shuffling without realizing it. But over time, this walking pattern becomes second nature. It builds confidence. It builds strength. And it creates a walking rhythm that your body can trust. The second walking trick is equally subtle, but deeply effective. Keep your knees slightly bent. Most of us don't realize how often we lock our knees when we walk, especially if we're tired or tense. Locked knees can throw your whole body out of balance and reduce your ability to respond to sudden changes, like stepping on an uneven surface or getting bumped by someone in a crowd. Bending your knees slightly as you walk softens your stride and acts like a natural shock absorber. It also lowers your center of gravity, giving you better balance and more control over how your body moves. Think of it like a suspension system in a car. A rigid frame jolts with every bump. A flexible one moves smoothly, even when the road gets rough. I remember speaking with a physical therapist named Ruth, who had worked with seniors for over 30 years. She once told me that teaching her clients to walk like dancers, not robots, made all the difference. Dancers bend their knees. They adjust. They respond. That image stuck with me and with many of her clients too. The third walking principle is about posture, and it builds directly on what we talked about earlier, walking tall. Picture a string gently pulling you upward from the crown of your head. That's your posture cue. Now relax your shoulders, open your chest slightly, and engage your abdominal muscles just enough to support your core. When your spine is tall and aligned, your body moves as one unit instead of wobbling piece by piece. Posture isn't just about looking confident, it's a functional skill. Poor posture puts strain on your hips, back, and neck. It shortens your stride and pulls your weight forward, which increases the chance of falling. Good posture centers you. It gives your muscles a balanced foundation to work from. One study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that posture correction alone significantly reduced fall risk in adults over 70. In fact, participants reported feeling more alert and mentally focused when they walked upright. Why? Because posture affects not just your body but your brain. When you hold yourself up, your brain receives signals that you're in control, that you're alert and prepared. Let's take a breath here. These first three techniques, heel-to-toe stepping, soft knees, and tall posture, form what I like to call the steady triangle. They work together to create a smoother, more responsive walking style. They don't require any special equipment or intense physical effort. Just awareness, practice, patience. Now let's talk about the fourth technique, which might surprise you, using your arms. Yes, your arms play a big role in how stable you feel while walking. When people are nervous about falling, they often Stiffen their arms, hold them close to the body, or even keep them in their pockets. But this removes one of your body's natural balancing tools. Think about a tightrope walker. Have you ever seen one with their arms pinned to their sides? Of course not. They extend their arms to widen their balance and make constant micro adjustments. While we don't need to swing like we're on a tightrope, allowing your arms to move naturally opposite the motion of your legs adds rhythm, coordination, and stability to your walk. Let your arms hang loose but purposeful. Elbows slightly bent, hands relaxed. With each step, allow a gentle swing from the shoulder, not the elbow. This cross-lateral movement, left leg with right arm, right leg with left arm, actually helps your brain engage both hemispheres, improving coordination and reducing hesitation. A client named Jerome once told me he used to walk with his arms completely still because he thought it made him look more put together. But after a near fall in the grocery store, his doctor recommended walking practice that encouraged natural arm motion. "Now I feel like I'm marching in my own little parade," he joked. "And I haven't stumbled once since I started." That brings us to our fifth walking trick. Pause before you pivot. Many falls happen not while walking straight, but when turning around. Think about how often you pivot in daily life. You hear someone call your name, and you spin around. You reach for something on a shelf and twist to the side. These small motions are easy to take for granted, but they often trip us up. The safest way to turn is to pause first, plant both feet, and then turn your whole body, feet, hips, shoulders, and head as one unit. Avoid twisting just your upper body while your feet stay in place. That twisting motion can throw off your center of gravity and cause you to lose balance. Imagine you're like a lighthouse, slowly rotating to face a new direction. It may take a second longer, but it keeps your foundation stable. Slowing down here isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The ability to turn safely and deliberately can prevent countless small accidents that would otherwise grow into big ones. And finally, we arrive at the sixth walking principle. Scan your path and plan your next 3 steps. Not just 1, 3. This technique builds awareness and gives your brain time to react. Look ahead of where you're going, not straight down at your feet, and not far into the distance. Keep your gaze about 5 to 8 feet ahead, scanning for cracks, cords, pets, wet spots, or any objects that might trip you up. Planning 3 steps ahead also helps you stay mentally engaged with your environment. It turns walking from a passive activity into an active one. Your brain remains alert, your reactions stay quicker, and you develop what experts call anticipatory balance. That simply means you're ready before the challenge arrives. Think of it like driving a car. You don't just look at the hood, you scan the road ahead for signs, other vehicles, and pedestrians. Walking safely is the same. And the beauty of this habit is that it quickly becomes automatic. After a few weeks of practicing this awareness, your brain begins to do it without effort. These 6 habits, heel-to-toe stepping, soft knees, upright posture, natural arm swing, pivoting with purpose, and scanning 3 steps ahead form a complete protective system. Together, they strengthen your balance, improve your awareness, and drastically reduce your chances of falling. But perhaps even more importantly, they give you your confidence back. They allow you to walk without dread, to return to the things you love, to stroll through your garden, take a walk with a friend, climb the church steps, or dance a little in your kitchen. I know these tips can seem small at first, but in the words of author James Clear from his best-selling book Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And this is your system. A simple, repeatable way to walk strong. Let's bring all of this together with something I believe is even more important than any single walking technique: trust. Trust in your body, trust in your ability to adapt, and trust in your right to take up space in the world with confidence. and pride. You see, the reason these walking tricks matter so much isn't just because they protect your bones. It's because they protect your independence. A fall isn't just a stumble. For many older adults, it's a turning point. It can take away your sense of safety, your mobility, and even your identity. But when you walk well, when you walk smart, you're doing more than avoiding injury. You're reclaiming control. I've seen people in their 80s and 90s transform their lives by simply learning how to walk again. And that might sound dramatic, but it's true. I remember one gentleman named Carl, a retired firefighter. After 2 back-to-back falls, he withdrew from almost everything. He wouldn't go out with friends, stopped his morning walks, and rarely left his recliner except for appointments. His daughter convinced him to join a balance class. He was reluctant, but the instructor, a kind, patient woman named Gloria, showed him how to shift his weight more safely, how to pivot slowly, and how to step with better awareness. Within 3 months, Carl wasn't just walking again. He was leading morning walks at his senior center. He put his name down to teach a fire safety course. He started baking with his grandson every weekend. All because he no longer feared the ground beneath him. His confidence returned, not through chance, but through intention. And that's what I want for you. 2. Now, let's talk briefly about footwear, because none of these techniques will work well if your shoes are working against you. The right shoes can be your best walking partner. The wrong ones can quietly sabotage your every step. Avoid shoes with slippery soles, high heels, or heavy treads that can catch on rugs or thresholds. Choose supportive shoes with non-skid bottoms and a wide toe box. If possible, go for shoes that lace or Velcro securely across the top of the foot. That gives you a snug fit and prevents your foot from sliding inside the shoe, which can throw off your balance. And if you wear slippers at home, which most of us do, make sure they're designed for stability, not just softness. A good house slippers should have a rubber sole, a secure back, no open heel slip-ons, and a firm grip inside the shoe. Remember, most falls happen in the home. It's the one place we often let our guard down. But it's also the place we have the most power to make changes. Next, I want to gently encourage something that might feel a little uncomfortable. Ask for feedback. If you have a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, someone you trust, ask them to watch you walk from a short distance. Have them tell you honestly, do you look steady? Are your steps even? Are you leaning, shuffling, or moving too quickly? It takes courage to ask for that kind of help. But it's also one of the bravest and most responsible things you can do for yourself. One of my favorite moments came from a woman named Janice, a retired seamstress in her late 70s. She practiced the 6 techniques every day, often walking a loop in her living room with classical music playing softly in the background. After 2 weeks, her grandson said, "Grandma, you walk like you're floating now." She smiled, held her posture tall, and said, "I've decided I'm not going out with a thud, I'm going out with style." That's the spirit I hope you carry forward. The road to fall prevention isn't paved with fear, it's built with knowledge, practice, and grace. It's about giving yourself the tools to stay upright, yes, but also the freedom to live boldly, to move through life with calm and courage. If you're watching this today, know this: your body is still listening. Even if you've had falls in the past, even if your joints ache and your muscles feel weaker than they used to, you can still build strength. You can still improve your balance. You can still learn to walk with confidence. And if you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you not just for watching, but for caring about your well-being, for taking the time to learn something new, for showing up for yourself. That commitment, more than any technique, is what truly prevents falls. You're already doing something powerful. Don't stop here. Consider making these 6 walking habits part of your daily routine. Write them on a note near your front door. Share them with a friend. Practice them during your walks to the kitchen, the mailbox, the grocery store. The more you practice, the more they become part of how you move in the world. Natural, gentle, strong. And if you're able, look into local balance classes, Tai Chi sessions, or physical therapy programs in your area. Many are designed specifically for older adults and can make a world of difference. You don't have to do this alone. There's a whole community out there of seniors learning, walking, and thriving together. I'll leave you with this thought. Every step you take is a statement. A statement of presence, of resilience, of life continuing no matter the year on the calendar. Walk wisely. Walk proudly. Walk like someone who's not done living, because you're not. Not by a long shot. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this video helped you, please consider sharing it with someone else who might need it. Let's keep each other steady step by step.